Welcome to Mad About Money. I'm Maddy Alexander-Grout, and this is the podcast where we talk to interesting people about their interesting money stories. I'm here with the lovely Lisa Williams, who is a vision board queen. And I'm really excited to learn more about what she does because I think vision boarding is super exciting. So, Lisa, tell me a little bit about you and what you do.
Hi, Maddie. Thank you for having me here on your podcast. I am Lisa Williams, also known as the Vision Board Queen, as Maddie said. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs create the blueprints for their dream life so that they can live the life and freedom that they desire. And a lot of the time, that is financial freedom as well as time freedom. And it's always working and striving towards that vision of where they see their future. I do this through several ways. I have a best-selling book, I have my own podcast, and I also have a membership on that helps people stay connected with their vision board and they're working through their blocks and their mindset.
Amazing. That's loads of things. And we'll talk about the best-selling book because I love books and I'm in the process of writing my own. So I have been in the process of writing my own for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It keeps getting nearly finished, and then I go, no, no, perfectionism. Damn you, brain. So it's lovely to have you on with us. So Lisa, I'm going to ask you the question that I ask everybody on this podcast. What's your money story?
So my money story is quite, I would say it's quite normal for a British story. It's
Yeah.
nothing unusual. I grew up with a single mum. My mum was single. She had several jobs, and we were very much on the breadline of life.
Mm.
We didn't like, I didn't go without anything, but I didn't have luxuries at the same time. And my first ever money memory, because I've worked on my money mindset, so I've obviously done this work, was actually my mum writing down on a piece of paper her shopping list and making sure that she had enough money to get us through that week. So it was always week by week kind of living. And again, from my nan, who was very part of my upbringing, um, it would be counting the pennies to go and buy one cigarette from the shop. This was back when you could buy one or two
Oh wow. I
cigarettes.
didn't even know that that was a thing,
Yeah,
but
they
that's
used
cool.
to do that back. So it was counting the pennies and giving me money to go and get a penny sweet. It was very much a penny orientated. We didn't have a lot. We didn't, but we didn't actually need a lot because life then wasn't as luxurious as it is now. There wasn't as many technologies as there is now. So you didn't really need a lot. So that was kind of like my money story. As I grew up, I did see my parents get into some debt. I did go off to uni myself, and I did get myself into quite a lot of financial debt from credit cards and things like that, just to get by through uni life. And then I got to a point after a relationship breakdown where I was left with a lot of debt. And that was when it really kind of hit home that I'm going to lose my house. My house it went under repossession. Luckily, I did make an agreement with the house. This was back in, I'm going to say 2013, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, 2013, around that time. And I made an agreement with the mortgage company at the time to pay above my mortgage. And I set that mindset that I can do this. And
Yeah.
I had a young child, and I didn't really have an option to lose my house. I had to keep my house, I had to keep a roof over her head. And that was kind of really when I made that decision that I had to work, I had to really put everything in to save that house for myself. I did later go on and, we cleared the repossession order. I cleared, and then a couple of years later, I think it must have been about 6 years later, I was able to remortgage my property, and clear off the rest of the debts, which was absolutely such an incredible feeling.
Yeah.
And then in 2011, I was able to then go on and buy my dream home, which again was an incredible feeling, being able to know that I'd done all that work and I made that commitment that I can do it. And it really, um, obviously 2021 year, when I brought the dream home, that was when obviously I did do vision boarding. But back in 2013, I hadn't even heard of it.
So let's talk a little bit about that time, because that was when COVID was on. So you bought your dream home during COVID.
I did, yes.
Wow. Now that is impressive, because most people were like crying into their handkerchiefs and like just
Yeah.
despairing at that time. So I mean that's really inspirational as it is. How do you think vision boarding helped you to get your dream home?
Um, when I first created my first ever vision board in 2018, I always had the vision of having a bigger home, a 4 bedroom house that was big enough, because we lived in a really, really small 3 bedroom house. There wasn't a lot of space. At that point, I'd had one child. In COVID, during lockdown, I had my second baby,
Oh
and
God.
I got to the point where I was like, right, this is going to be my focus now. Um, we needed to move to a bigger house. So I set the intention that that year I was going to look into it. So I started writing. I had obviously already had the image and the vision on the vision board, but I started writing in my gratitude journal how grateful I was for my 4 bedroom house, and how grateful
Amazing.
I was to have more space as a family, how grateful I was for my L-shaped sofa that fitted nicely in my living room. I started really emphasizing that intention. And then I had a random dream that I was looking to buy this house. And then that house went on the market, which I didn't even know it was on the market. So I went to look at it just for the curiosity that I couldn't not. It wasn't right for us at all, but it gave me that sign that I needed to start looking. So I then started writing in how much I was grateful to receiving for my home, how grateful I was to move into our new home, just really emphasizing that. And then I did put the house on the market, and then I got £1,000 less than what I'd actually been writing in my gratitude journal.
And how did that
So
make you feel?
amazing. It was just like that vision that I'd set years earlier just came to reality. And it was just like all the steps that I'd taken to get there just all clicked together. And it was really, really incredible.
I love that. That's giving me goosebumps. So I'm in a very, very small shoeboxy house. Like we moved into a new build, and I bought it myself before me and my husband got married. And 7 weeks after moving into a 2 bed, I found out I was pregnant with my first. And I was like, oh, there goes my spare room. That's really annoying. And we're still here. And now I have 2 children and a dog, and they share. And it's a 2 up, 2 down. And it is most definitely being outgrown. So this year is our year. And I am really, really trying to manifest what I want. Like, not
Yeah.
trying, I am manifesting what I want. I'm going to take that word trying out. Um,
Yeah.
what are your best tips?
So let's look at like the home. Let's stay with the home example, because obviously money links with home, because obviously
Yeah.
home life and money. So for me, it was really getting crystal clear on what I wanted.
Mm,
Okay. Do you want a new build, or do you want a
fuck no.
cottage? Getting really clear on what you wanted, first of all. And then if you can't find the visual representation, that writing it down, really like emphasizing in a journal. I actually wrote down, I'm just looking at my old vision board here, like 4 bedroom house, a large kitchen, an office, a garage, It's got loft conversion, but I've still got room to do that. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Dining room, lounge, walk-in wardrobe. So it's kind of like I wrote down
Have you
exactly
got a walk-in
clear.
wardrobe?
I don't have a walk-in wardrobe, but our wardrobes are absolutely massive. I can actually
Nice.
walk into it. They are
Nice.
huge. So going from a little tiny house where you couldn't even fit a wardrobe in the bedroom, um, it was like, oh my God, this is as big as a walk-in wardrobe. My office actually is, I do have my girls' wardrobe in here, so they don't have a wardrobe in their bedrooms. This is kind of like the office slash wardrobe
Yeah.
area. So in the day, it's my office. When they need their clothes, they can come in. So kind of yes, but it's not to the vision that I wanted. But that wasn't the icing on the cake for me. It wasn't.
But it's still giving you like the thing that you pretty much wanted. I mean,
Yes.
I think, we can't manifest exact stuff, can we, really? I mean, we can,
Yeah.
but not always does it work that way. So no, I think that's lovely. So let's talk a little bit about vision boarding then. And how do you think that vision boarding can, I mean, first of all, explain what it is, because there are going to be some people who are listening who are like, what the hell's a vision board? Um, so I think maybe let's have a chat around what it is and how people could use that to maybe make more money or get their dream house or whatever.
Yeah, so vision board is basically a collage of images which represent your dreams and your desires. And it's just to design to serve as like a source of inspiration and motivation to help you kind of stay focused and committed to working towards those dreams. So in comparison to say like a New Year's resolution, so most of us or a lot of people start the new year and say, oh, I want to get fitter this year. Okay.
Mm,
Whereas the vision board will help you stay focused on that vision, focused on that dream. Whereas a New Year's resolution, most people fail them within the first couple of weeks.
yeah.
So a vision board is like there as your visual reminder, this is what I want. And you can also map out how you're going to get there. So let's use in a money goal, for example. So if you have a 10K money goal that you want to achieve, to go on a dream holiday, or maybe to put towards a deposit for a house, or whatever that goal may be, you can actually set yourself like incremental goals, like I want to do 2K by this time in 3 months, or I want to have 5K by July. So the vision board can help you keep that accountability for yourself as well as keeping you motivated. And at the end of the 10K, obviously your vision is going to be what you want to use with that
Yeah.
10K. So if you want it to put towards a deposit, you have a picture of the house on there. If it's for a car, you can have a picture of a car on there. It's just to keep you really, really focused. And it's really good for anyone who, I know yourself, you suffer with ADHD and stuff. So it's really good for people who do suffer with things like that, because it will keep them recognize where they're actually going. Because when you
Mm,
do have a neurodiverse condition, or even myself, sometimes you get so lost in like taking the next step, you actually forget what you're actually going ahead for. So the
so agree with
vision
that. Yeah. I
board,
mean, like it's with business and with life. I mean, to be honest, I forget my own name half the time. So
yeah. And
like,
sometimes you get so caught up in the cycle of business life and, mum life and, everything else, that you actually need to take a step back and go, oh, what am I actually doing this for? So the vision board is there to remind you that this is why you're taking this step. This is why you're pushing yourself. This is why you're on this podcast. This is why you're going to do an interview. This is why you're doing these things that are all in steps towards getting to that vision, that goal that you have.
mm, that's so interesting. I love it. Um, is there anything bad about vision boarding?
I've not come across anything bad,
No,
but
it's just it seems like a really, I mean, it's not something that I've really done myself, and actually I think maybe I should,
yeah,
because I've definitely got a very clear vision of what I
yeah.
want,
And
but
I
it's not
think for
anywhere.
yourself, it would definitely give you that reminder of what you're doing, why you're doing it. And as much as like, I know you said that we've spoke previously about things like this, that you do go off on a tangent and you
Yeah.
struggle to get yourself kind of where you're going, and you're not as organized and stuff. So the vision board will help you stay in that lane rather than going off into other lanes.
And my God, do I do that a lot. And actually, weirdly, I heard a phrase the other day, which I thought it's actually a word. I've never heard of it before, but somebody called me a multi-potentialite. And I was like, I've never heard that word
I've never
before.
heard that word either.
No, no, but apparently it means an individual who likely has a neurodivergent brain, who can basically do lots of things. So I guess that's like me. I've got Mad About Money app, I've got my TikTok coaching, I've got my ADHD coaching. I also do neurodiversity in the workplace training. There's lots of podcasting, speaking, like
Yeah.
all these things. Um, and it was kind of like, oh, now I know that there's a word for that. Actually, it kind of makes me feel less guilty about having all
Yeah.
those things.
So my
Not that I
husband
should,
is
but
neurodiverse, and he definitely is the opposite to you. So he can't do more than one thing at once.
I mean, I think I would probably be a lot better at doing one thing if I did one thing.
Yeah,
But my brain gets distracted and I go, oh, that's a shiny object. That's a shiny object. I'm also the worst person ever at buying courses. Like, I
because you
buy
don't do them.
courses and I don't do them. I am so bad. It's taken me 3 attempts at one to many to actually finish it. It's amazing when you finish it, but the first time I did it, I was like, no, this is rubbish, because of the fact that I hadn't put in the work to do it. And it's not
Yeah,
that I wasn't enjoying it; it's the fact that I get distracted and I go, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. And
yeah,
I'm in probably about 10 memberships. They're all amazing. They're all great memberships, but I'm like, do I really need all of these?
yeah,
Probably not. But yeah, my brain feeds off knowledge and education, but sometimes I don't actually do it, if that makes
yeah,
sense. So I think,
yeah, it makes
like,
sense.
the idea of it, I mean, what kind of advice could you give to somebody who's thinking, this vision board thing sounds really great? How do they get started? What's the actual
Yeah.
process of chucking it
So
together?
obviously there's two ways to looking at vision boards. You've obviously got the practical way, which I've just explained, which is really good for
Mm,
money and stuff. And then you also have got the woo element of it, which you
yeah.
don't have to have utilized both, but if you do bring them both in, then obviously it can be more magical. So the woo element is looking at manifestation, looking at,
Mm,
like alignment and being aligned with the vision, but you still have to have the practical side of it as well. So the practical of setting your goals, taking the steps, you can't just sit back and let it all fall in your lap. That isn't how it works. Okay.
no.
So the first thing, if you've never created a vision board, the first thing I would do or recommend is to basically just get a pen and paper and writing down everything that you want. Okay.
Mm,
And one of the ways I suggest doing this is imagine the world, the universe, as an Argos catalogue. Okay. And you're a
ooh,
kid and you just scan through the Argos catalogue. You haven't got a care in the world, and you don't question it. You don't question why, how much money it's going to be. You literally just write your dream life down. Okay. This is where some people get like blocks that show up because they never put themselves first,
right.
or they've never asked for anything. So they feel like they can't ask for stuff. So things like that might show up here. But I would just trust the process and just let the pen do the work. Okay. Don't overthink it. If you're struggling, set a timer. So if you're going off on a tangent, set a timer for say like 5 minutes or 2 minutes and just literally like brain dump it all down. Okay. So that could help with someone like yourself who would go off on a tangent. So literally get as much down as you can in 2 minutes and then that's it. And then when you start looking for the images and start expanding on that, then you can start adding a little bit more in. But for initially, just get your ideas out of your head and onto that paper.
And is
Then
it
I,
kind of like cutting magazines out and stuff, or
um,
like,
you can. I'm going to go on to how I would do it.
okay, okay.
in the
Sorry,
next
I
step.
jumped ahead there, didn't
You
I?
did jump ahead. You've
Silly
jumped two
brain.
steps ahead. So the next thing I would do is I would go through that list and I would start writing down some affirmations for yourself, because at some point your brain is going to say to you, I can't do this. I can't have that. That's going to cost me too much money. So start writing down affirmations for yourself, like, I am worthy of the money that I desire. I am worthy of my dream home. I am abundant. I will travel to XYZ places. So whatever things are on your vision board, start writing down your own affirmations, because we can all write, I will earn more money. That's not going to mean anything to
Not very
everybody.
specific, is it?
Yeah. So writing down your specific affirmations, because your brain, I can guarantee at some point, will tell you you cannot do it. Okay.
Absolutely. You know my brain very well. I feel like me and your brain, my brain and you are friends. This is good.
Then once you've done that, this is when I would start looking and start collating those images. Now, for me personally, I use the likes of Pinterest, Canva images, Google images, collate them all together, print them out, and then I stick them on the board. Okay. I like the process of sticking onto the board. That to me puts the icing on the cake for me. But you can also make a digital vision board. There's lots of tools in Canva that are available to make a digital one. You can use that as your screensaver, or you can still print it out and put it on the wall. So you can still have it as a physical board, but it's just a digitally created one. So there's no cutting, sticking, gluing. If that's not you, don't do it. Okay.
Oh no, that's definitely me. I love I love a collage.
Yeah. Some people hate the thought of that and think that's going to take me too much time. I'm not going to do it. And then they just don't do it. So there is easier ways to do it as well. So just create it in Canva, print it out and stick it on your wall. Okay. You can use magazines. Personally, I find that more of an old-fashioned method, because magazines, yes, there's lots available.
But they cost money
They
and
cost money.
they're a
So
fortune as well nowadays.
So
Like
you're
it's,
going to spend probably about 50 quid on some magazines if you're going to go and buy magazines.
yeah,
And
right.
still, the chances are you're going to be sat there for hours flicking through the magazine, finding what you want, and you're probably not going to find the right image for you. And I always do think that the crystal clearer you are, the better it is going to be. So when you're typing into Google or Pinterest, you're going to get the image that you want on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, if you want a pink car like I do, you're going to find a pink car on there. You're probably not going to find a pink car in a magazine.
I love the fact that you've got a pink car. That's amazing.
I haven't got one yet, but it's on the board.
Oh, can you just like re-spray your one
You
or like
can, yeah, yeah,
do it,
yeah.
do it, do it? That's probably a
It's
cheaper
on. It's
way
on
than
the board.
yeah.
It's on the board. It's in the process.
Oh, like a Barbie car.
Yes.
I love that idea. I mean, I did that actually a few years ago. Like I love like so for me, I don't have a favorite color. I'm really weird. Like, and this is why when it came to do my branding and my business stuff, I went with a rainbow because I have an absolute like addiction to rainbow colors. Like all of the big brights, like no one of them, I couldn't pick any single one. And all of my clothes are all very bright, you know, apart from this jumper, which today is very dreary, but like I'm in this wash day. But I found the most amazing bright blue car, and I was like, I want that car, really want it. I just saw somebody driving it, and then like 2 weeks later, I was like, I've got this car. It's very naughty. I shouldn't have this car, but I've got this car. And yes, I did get it on finance, but it was an absolute bargain because I haggled the shit out of it. So, like, yeah, it's just, when you put your mind to something, it's,
Yeah.
you know, and also I think also, especially for ADHD people, when we start thinking of something, we can't get it out of our heads. It's just there. It's like a little earworm that kind of like goes round and round. So actually putting it down on the paper is probably a really good idea.
Yeah, definitely. So once you've kind of created your vision board, it's a lot of people. You might have to do a vision board more than once to actually
Mm.
find what style works well for you. Okay. So I've tried various styles. I've tried digital ones on my phone. I've tried them as screensavers. I've tried printing it out. I've tried the sticking and gluing. and I know which one's right for me now, but I have
Mm,
tried them all to find which one works for me, because all of our brains work differently.
absolutely. Yeah.
So if you pick up your phone, like I pick up my phone to work, okay? I don't pick up my phone to sit and stare in space and look at a vision board. Okay.
Mm,
My phone is my working tool. It's like
yeah.
someone picking up a hammer. They wouldn't pick up the hammer and think of going on holiday, would they? They pick up the hammer
No.
to do a job. So
Hmm.
my phone is a tool that I use for my job. So
Yeah.
I don't sit there and stare at my screensaver. It's not
No. No, I
it's
don't.
not something that I would do. Whereas I would sit and stare at my vision board, which is above my screen, when I'm taking a 5 minutes back and I'm like, oh, yes. Okay. So that works better for me. And I prefer the sticking and gluing because when I've achieved something, I like the satisfaction of taking it off and putting it on my achievement board.
Ah, nice.
So, whereas if I printed it out and did a digital version, I didn't get that satisfaction of taking it off.
That makes sense. So when you're sticking stuff on, is it easy enough to take off? I mean, could
I just
you
use
maybe
blue
blue
tack
tack?
or
Yeah.
double-sided tape, so it's quite easy to just take it off. And
Because actually dreams change, right? Don't
yeah,
they?
yeah,
And one you could be absolutely obsessed about getting one thing to the point where you can't stop thinking about it. But then, especially with me, I know that my dreams change all the time. I pick up a new hobby and I'll do it for 6 weeks and I'll absolutely be obsessed with it. And then like 3 seconds later, I'm like, no, I don't like you anymore. I'm going to do something else.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that's really useful. I love that. So let's talk about your book.
yeah.
Tell me
So
about
the
it.
book is called The Vision Board Blueprints. We launched it, well, I launched it in October 23, and it went best selling on the second day, which was
Amazing.
absolutely incredible. And it's basically a book with all the tools to help you create your board, stay connected with your board, work through those mindset shifts. It's basically packed full of tools to support you on the journey, because a vision board isn't a quick fix. It's definitely a journey, which some
Yeah.
people look at a vision board, oh, it's just sticking pictures on a board and then it'll manifest. And that isn't really how it works. There is, sometimes you might have some childhood traumas that are surfacing
Hmm.
underneath. Sometimes you might have some money blocks that are surfacing underneath that are stopping you achieve your goal. So it's understanding where they come from and what they are. So the book has obviously got tools to help you with that. And then there is also 6 other ladies who have contributed towards the final chapter in the book to help people with different areas. So we've got a mindset lady, we've got a lady who is a money coach, we've got a lady to help with oh gosh, what's the word now? Oh, I can't think of the word. Like
That's annoying when that happens.
organizing. I was gonna say organizing, but it's definitely not organizing.
Decluttering,
No, more like priorities, like organizing what's priorities and things like that. Um,
clarity type
yeah,
thing.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
literally, the word has just gone out of my head. So,
Yeah.
and then there's another lady who talks about like healing and
Mm.
silent counseling. So there's lots of tools that they provide as well, so that the reader can go away and see what works for them, because there's lots of healing modalities out there in terms of
Yeah.
mindset work, inner healing, but not everything works for everybody. So I wanted to give the readers the chance to find what works for them.
That really makes sense. So, what's next for you then on your vision board? So, if you've got your dream house, what's on your new vision board, seeing as you've got that now?
There's lots of things really. There's I want to design a vision board app this year,
Ooh, I like
um,
that.
which is completely out of comfort zone. I don't have any app knowledge at all. So I wanted to design a vision board app so people can create a vision board inside the app. They can have daily reminders to connect with their vision board.
Nice.
So like little alerts, like affirmation alerts and things like that. So just to keep them in flow with that vision and making sure that they're working with the vision board rather than just
Mm,
letting it sit there and do nothing. I also have a book collaboration that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to be sharing other people's stories in that. And that's pretty much all I've got to so far for this year. Family life
nice.
goals. I'd like to go to a few destinations. I'd like to go to Sicily. I'd like to go on a cruise.
Oh,
That's kind
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to go on a cruise. And
Have you ever been to Sardinia?
no,
It is the
no,
nicest place I've ever been.
yeah,
I mean, I've never been to Italy, and I'd love to, but Sardinia, like we went there on holiday before my son was born, actually, and before he even existed. I think it was the summer before I found out I was pregnant. The food is incredible, the weather is incredible, the people are so lovely. It's just a
yes,
beautiful place, really nice. So I recommend there if it's not on your list.
yes, definitely. So I've got a lot of travel goals. I want to have visited 40 countries before I'm 40. So I'm 38
Ooh.
this year. So I think I've got about 8 left to do. So I've got 8 places that I need to go before in the next 2 years.
That's just given me an idea. So I had a 40 things to do before I was 40, and I didn't do them.
But did you
I hit
have them
40
on your vision board?
because I didn't have a vision board. So that's what I need to do for my vision board. And actually that was like I did a TikTok so that I could keep myself accountable. And I achieved some of them, but I think I thought of my 40 things to do before I was 40 about 6 weeks before I was 40, which just,
Yeah,
realistically, that is another way of my ADHD manifesting itself in being like very time blind. Like I thought, yeah, I can totally do those things in 6 weeks. No,
yeah,
no. And I mean, there were lots of things on there. So I mean, like I am absolutely desperate to meet Davina McCall because I'm obsessed with her. I think she obsessed is the wrong word because that makes me sound like a stalker.
yeah,
But like ever since like when she used to do Street Mate when she was
yes,
younger,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and her whole career, I've just been absolutely in awe of her. And I just think that she is the most amazing person. I
yeah,
want to be her friend and I want to go for dinner with her. So I think, yeah, maybe that does make me a bit of a weird stalker, but I think, she was on my vision board and actually there's something coming up next year where I might be able to meet her. So I'm going to put all these things there, and
yeah.
then maybe I'll
Get them in
focus more on
place.
them. I think it's a really great idea about, keeping yourself focused, personally and in business. So very exciting. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. How do people find you and how do people get in touch?
So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Both are under Lisa Williams. So Instagram is Lisa Williams Vision Board Queen, and Facebook is just Lisa Williams. I do have a Facebook group called the Vision Board Lounge, which is mainly where I hang out. And then I also do have my own podcast, which is Vision Board Blueprints. And then you've got, obviously, you can find me on Amazon for Vision Board Blueprints for the book as well.
Amazing. So lovely to have you on. I think there's so much that people can learn from you. And we like to have lovely guests like you on this show because mainly because I'm so lazy, I can't be bothered to do solo episodes. So,
Yeah.
it's all about other people and it's easier to talk. So,
I think as
um,
well, when you are obviously bouncing off that, is when you have got other people on, you learn about their stories as well. So you've only
yeah.
really got your own story that you can share time and time again. But when there's other people's stories, people are learning new all the time, aren't they?
Absolutely. And it's my way of like getting really inspiring people in the business world into my world and actually, getting to know people better and actually understanding what makes them tick, which is, one of the things that makes me tick. I like understanding what people do. So it's lovely. So for anybody who's watching this podcast or listening to it on Spotify or Apple Music, or on YouTube, wherever you've come across this podcast, you're in the wrong place because really you need to be in the Mad About Money app. because it is the place to hang out to be better with your money in all different types of areas. We are a neuro inclusive. This is our new word that we're going out with now. So we're not just neurodivergent friendly, we are neuro inclusive. So whatever your brain type, we can support the way that you want to manage your money. So I'm Maddy Alexander-Grout. You can find me on LinkedIn, and we will see you next time. Thanks for listening.